Hello family, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are well. Today's video, I wanted to show you how I make my jump rings and turn them into these gorgeous earrings. So grab your pliers and some wire and let's get started. Right, so to make these earrings, I'll be using my flush cutters, flat nose pliers, my round nose pliers, and I've marked these so I can get more consistent loops, and I'll also be using my chain nose pliers. I'll be using an earring wire that I've made. I've got a video on this showing you how I make my earring wire, and also I'll be using a series of large, medium and small jump rings which I've made with my round nose pliers. I'll also be using my steel block and hammer. Okay, so these earrings that I've made them with a series of different jump rings. So I've used larger jump rings at the top. I used about 15 large ones, and then I've got 4 medium ones at the bottom, and the last one is a tiny one that I've made. So I quite like my earrings to be graduated, so from large to medium to small, so you get a tapered look. So for the jump rings, I'll be using about 30 centimeters of 0.8 wire. So I'm just going to straighten it with my hands. You can use your nylon jaw pliers to straighten your wire, and also you can just use your hands. 0.8 wire is quite soft, it's very malleable, so it's not too hard on your hands. These earrings you can also make with 1mm wire, but I prefer to use 0.8 wire because I like how malleable it is. So once you've straightened your wire, if you take your round nose pliers, so I've used a permanent marker and I've drawn 2 lines on my round nose pliers. So this helps me get consistent loops. Because it's tapered, you're never too sure what size your loops are going to be. So because I've marked it, it helps me to know at what point to get my consistent loops. So to make the large jump rings, I've used at the top of my earring. So I've used about 15 large ones. I use the bottom part of my round nose pliers to make my jump rings. So if you position your 0.8 wire at the bottom and then just gently roll, just roll around at the bottom part of your round nose pliers. So take your time to do this. Just continue rolling round. So your jump rings will naturally move up on your round nose pliers. So I'm going to need about 15 of these. So I'm continuously rolling right at the bottom at the same point all the time. And I'm gently moving the wire upwards to give myself enough space at the bottom. Okay, so you can stop at any point. I'm going to stop at this point and then remove my round nose pliers. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my flush cutter and cut this wire off. So when you cut wire, the flattest part of the flush cutter is on this side, and this side is the sharp part. So when you cut, you get a flat side on this side. So it's always best to cut your wire on this side. So to cut the jump ring, I'm going to leave 2 jump rings on, and then I'm going to just cut like so. So you always leave one full wire in the middle, and then I'm going to snip. So I've just gently pulled that wire forward. I'm just going to snip that part of the jump ring. So there's one wire in the middle. I've just cut this part flush. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn it around. Because this part is sharp, I'm just going to position the flat side and make sure both sides are flat. So I'm just going to snip this off. Always make sure you hold the wire that you're cutting off, because this wire can fly and you have to be really careful, because that can hit you in the eye. That's quite dangerous. So always make sure you hold the wires that you're cutting. So that's your first jump ring. So you will need to make, so I've used 15 large ones, 4 mediums and a small one at the bottom. So to make, so we just made the large jump ring, so I used the bottom of my round nose pliers. So to make a medium one, I would use the middle line that's on my round nose pliers. So you just repeat the same step, but making sure that you stay within this part of your round nose pliers. So nice and slow. So this way you get consistent jump rings the same size. Just take your time, make a few of this. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my round nose pliers. So I'm going to repeat the same step. So use your flat nose pliers. Just snip. I'm just going to pull this wire, just snip the wire off. And then when you come to cut your jump ring, just make sure you cut them in 3s. So you've got half one here, and then there are 2 full wires in the middle. So I'm just going to snip this wire off. Leaving 1 full wire in the middle. I'm going to now snip this wire. So you always get 1 full wire in the middle, half wire on either side. Okay, so this is your medium size jump ring. So we've made one large one, one medium. So I'm going to make a tiny one now, the one that I used right at the bottom. So for this one, I'm going to use the top line to make a small jump ring. So again, position your wire at the top, using the line as a guide, and then roll around your round nose slowly. So I only used one, so you don't need to roll too many times. So I've just rolled 3 times on here, so I'm just going to snip that wire off. And then I'm going to make sure, so I only need one wire in the middle. There you go. And that's my small jump ring. So carry on making these jump rings. So I've used 15 large, 4 mediums and 1 small for my earring. So I'm now going to show you how I link my jump rings. So I started linking them already. So I've got the small one at the end, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 medium ones, and I'm going to show you how I link the large ones together. So I've used 20 in total to make my earrings. Right, so to link them, so take one of your jump rings. I'm going to use my chain nose pliers just to gently pull the first wire forward. And then take your earring and just insert the wire through. Okay, so once you've done this, you will need to use your pliers to just gently close your jump ring. So because I've made double jump rings, so these wires, so you get these sharp edges, and the way to secure these down is to use your pliers and just gently squeeze the ends. So I'm squeezing and I'm sort of rolling it forward, just trying to tuck it in. This is why I like to use 0.8 wire, because it's very malleable. So you can squeeze down these sharp edges. So use your fingers just to check. I find double jump rings very secure. It's just come off. It wasn't on properly. Just going to squeeze that down. There you go. So I'm going to carry on linking these. So I'll show you one more time. Take your jump ring, pull that forward, attach. So I'm now going to squeeze that forward and then just tuck in these sharp edges. So you can make these any length you want. So my ones are quite long. My earrings are quite long, so I think they're about 10 centimeters, but you can make them any length you want. You don't have to make them as long as I've made mine. So just remember to just tuck in these sharp edges. Just make sure you squeeze the ends of the wire. Okay. So once you've made it to the desired length you'd like, so just gently run your fingers along it just to make sure there are no more sharp edges. If there are, just take your time and use your pliers and go over it. Just make sure all these sharp wires are tucked in nicely. Okay. So once you've done that, the next thing to do is to make an ear wire. So I've got a more detailed video on how I make my ear wire more secure. You can have a look at. I'm just going to show you quickly how I made my ear wire. So to make my ear wire, I use 0.8 wire and I measure roughly about, just say 5 centimeters. And then take your round nose pliers, just make a loop. Make a loop like that. So every time I make a loop, I always use my flush cutters to cut the P shape and then reshape. So this allows me to get the perfect round, like that. So leave roughly about 1 centimeter. Position your ear wire at the bottom because I want the largest part, and then just roll this down around those pliers. To form an ear wire shape. And then at the bottom, I usually leave roughly about 0.5 centimeter from the bottom of the loop you've made. So I'm just going to snip this off. Just going to move this out of the way. So I'm going to use my steel block and hammer. So just to gently hammer the top of my earrings. I'm going to turn that over. So this strengthens your your earrings at the top. So another thing that I do with my earrings, I like to make a nice textured pattern. So I usually do about 5. So I use my round nose pliers and then just gently press. I don't know if you can see that. There's a lovely indentation on here. So I do about 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just gives it a lovely textured look, and I've got the hammered part at the top. Because 0.8Y is quite malleable, you're able to see the indentation a bit more. So the next thing to do is open your loop like a door, like so. And then to make my ear wire more secure, I then use my round nose pliers. So I make this part of my earring, I make it like a little curve with my round nose pliers. So insert your round nose pliers and then just gently curve. Just gently curve this part. So this allows me to roll this in a double spiral, and that locks in my earring in place. So once I've made the curve, I'm then going to attach my jump rings, and then I'm going to close. I'm going to close my loop, and because this area I've made this curve, I can then roll double roll my wire. So this would make the earring really secure, it wouldn't come apart, and I always make my earrings like this. I'm just now going to use my pliers to reshape. Okay, so if you find your earring a bit too long, I mean, it's personal preference. Some people like it quite long, others don't like it as long hair. So you can just use your flush cutters and just snip off about 0.5 centimeter. And I'm making sure the flat side is towards the part I want to keep. So I'm going to hold my wire that I'm cutting. And then the next step is to make a kink with your round nose pliers. And here you go. Here is your gorgeous jump ring earring. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and please remember to give me a like if you enjoyed that video. Send me any photos of your earrings on Instagram. I would absolutely love to see what you've been making. Please make sure to comment, like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.